Good Monday morning. Welcome back, Wall Street. I'm Zev Fima, research analyst for Action Alerts Plus, here on the floor of the NYSE with Jim Cramer. Catherine has the morning off today. Jim, kind of quiet on the macro front, but just tell me what's top of your mind.
I got to tell you, this rotation into the financials, into low multiple tech is extraordinary. You're seeing the money flood out of the Shopifys and the Oktas and the Adobes and going to the low multiple stocks that you need to do to get to all-time highs. Witness JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, both Dow stocks, and they are flying on nothing. So I want people to understand, there's nothing happening other than a rotation, but the rotation seems incredibly powerful. Into some of the industrials too. United Technologies on a recommendation suddenly moves. Caterpillar on nothing, even though we know that China's slowing. So you could argue that this is just one of those wholesale beginning of September moments where people are taking profits, which is often the case because mutual funds have a fiscal year that ends soon, and they're moving into low value. And that's how we're going to get to all-time highs.
And then Elliott obviously helping out AT&T and other multiple stocks.
Well, I mean, here we go. There's a company with a 9 times earnings, and they're saying, why not give it a 12 times earnings? They're a very thoughtful, constructed and constructive piece, not an attack on AT&T, just here's how you could run it better. And I felt after reading it that I would invite Elliott in to help me, and that would be less rancorous and allow my company to focus on bringing out value. That's what they should do.
Right.
We'll talk about that tonight maybe on Mad Money.
Jim, going higher level, I have to ask about China. We actually got exports declining 1% versus expectation for 2%. Are we finally really seeing the impacts of the trade war on their economy?
I think so. Now, I have a piece in Real Money today talking about how the domestic economy is actually quite good. Now, how much of it is a shift? The government wants to be able to make it so that the domestic economy is very good, and how much of it is they no choice because of the impact of the trade war. I think that the most underrepresented, and I want to thank Matt Horween who writes of me for this, the most underrepresented story right now is that the Communist Chinese have continued to let Hong Kong, after 14 weeks, run rampant every weekend. What does that say? I think that Xi, whom I've said over and over again is not going to be president for life, that Xi is really stuck here. If he cracks down on Hong Kong, then he will risk losing or creating a coalition of the willing against China. Because while the Chinese have not alienated Europe at all, because the Europeans do not want to alienate the Chinese to sell a lot of BMWs and Mercedes, the Europeans will not tolerate a crackdown on Hong Kong. So I continue to say that the Chinese government is precarious. Remember, there's a 100-year Communist Party celebration going on soon, and it's actually in a year and a half, but do not take it for when you hear the mainstream media talk about Xi being all-powerful. If Trump wins, then the Chinese attack will continue. If Elizabeth Warren wins, then the attack on Chinese will continue, but this time will be from the pollution point of view. So those who think that Xi is for life, I would take either one of our leaders, Trump and I certainly believe that Elizabeth Warren will be the nominee. Either one of them. But particularly Trump is better for Xi than Warren. People don't understand that. They don't read Warren. They have not read her position papers. She's worried about the Chinese destroying the environment, and she thinks that she's a stakeholder for the environment, something that Mark Benioff talks about in his book Trailblazer that I recommend everyone get as soon as it comes out.
Absolutely. So one of the poster childs for China has been Apple. They have an event tomorrow, expected to release a new iPhone. Is this going to be a huge event or kind of just
I think
small
that the
updates? Fact
is, the great thing here, Zev, is that if you're an Apple shareholder like we are with the Travel Trust, is the expectations here are so incredibly low that if they do start talking about the service revenues, it's going to be great. And remember, Katie Huberty talked about service revenue. I've been a huge believer in service revenue. By the way, I'm a huge believer in Apple Entertainment. They have enough firepower to do whatever they want. Remember, they just borrowed. People don't realize they just borrowed billions of dollars. If they want to put $15 billion in entertainment, not a problem. There's no way that NBC can keep up. Disney is already given her all she's got with Disney Plus. Comcast is paying for Comcast Network, rather not talk about. But I just think that you've got to be very careful if you're going to go up against Apple in entertainment. I think they're better than people realize. I know Amazon's really good. YouTube. I was watching a lot of stuff on YouTube lately, which is just a place to go. Facebook could be able to do entertainment without a problem. So, I mean, I think that people have to recognize that at any given time, these sleeping giant tech companies, if they're not worried about the attorneys general, could really make really play havoc with the whole industry.
Right. And Jim, real quick, before we switch up topics, I just want to remind everybody that our Action Alerts members only call is this week, Wednesday, 11:30 a.m., where we're going to be talking about the macro, China, the changing landscapes in various industries, so be sure to check it out.
I got a lot of stuff going on in the mornings now. I've got that, and I also have fantasy football.
I did want to ask you, Deshaun Jackson on your fantasy
No,
team?
but I have Wentz.
Okay.
And that was important. Now, Deshaun just lit it up. There were some guys who lit it up that were really incredible. Christian McCaffrey lit it up. A lot of people have Tyreek Hill are very worried. Schefter Schefter reporting does indicate that there are issues, obviously extending beyond just a couple games. People who have Nick Foles, I'm sorry, Nick Foles isn't Jen. I think that you're going to have to watch the show that we have because there are so many players that are available that shined this weekend. And we're going to have them. And I think that I can't wait. I did a lot of work late last night and this morning on our fantasy football program. Don't worry, I was doing it beforehand. I'm not slacking off on stocks. Yeah. But wow, I look forward to what the experts have to say. Remember, I'm the amateur, but I know what now, Bill, what I'm going to say to Bill is, okay, who are the Mercs? Who are the J&Js? Who are the Octas, guys that you may have to sit? And then who are the Caterpillars? Who are the JP Morgans? Who are the companies that you may have to play from the bench? So stand and sit will be a major issue when we get together tomorrow.
Remember, Bull Market Fantasy is every Tuesday and Thursday, 10:30. So you can definitely check that out. I think bullmarketfantasy.com also streams on Twitter. And then just before we go, I just want to remind everybody.
It's such a good program. A lot of people this weekend who I didn't know were watching told me thank you so much. Really helped the draft. We will have, I think that you can improve on any team. And we will have, in the same way you can improve on any portfolio, we will have a lot of ideas. And remember, there's a wholesale rotation going on in our market. There'll be a wholesale rotation going on in fantasy. Bull market fantasy.
We are going to jump over now to the Action Alerts members only call, where we'll also be discussing stock of the day, Amgen. Jim, anything you want to give real quick on Amgen before we switch?
The issue is Amgen may have been down anyway because Eli Lilly had some very good news this weekend, and that stock is down. I just think that it's the doghouse days for pharmaceuticals. Right. I've been saying that. And the stronger Elizabeth Warren polls, the more likely that you will not be able to own those stocks, which is really kind of interesting. And we've got a couple of them, and I weigh what to do. I mean, to me, Merck at 83 would look like a buy, but obviously the sellers of Merck will be back tomorrow. Merck having the best new drug in Keytruda. So I'm watching that group, not for bottom, but just for astonishment.
All right, guys, we're going to dig into that more over on ActionAlertsPlus.com.